Lights out on the hour. It is the hour of the time. Lights out for the curfew of your body, soul, and mind.
Hello, folks, and once again, welcome to the Hour of the Time. It's Friday, and I know that there are a lot of places where you would like to be other than by your radio. But this is an important program. It is so important that I urge you to stick it out, listen to it. In my travels around this country, I've found that this is one ingredient missing from most of the homes throughout this country. Yet this is the ingredient that allows us to have the homes that we have around this country. The purpose of this show, the Hour of the Time, is to acquaint everyone worldwide with the ideals and the principles that this country, the United States of America, was founded upon, and to re-educate those who have forgotten those principles and those ideals. Because I believe that there's a cancer growing in the world today, one that is propelling us into a new world, totalitarian socialist order. And I believe that can only happen because of the apathy, the abdication of responsibility, and the ignorance of all of the people of the world who will allow this to happen. Values are falling by the wayside. It is now good to do wrong and wrong to do good. It is the purpose of this program to reacquaint the world with the principles that finally set men free. You see, before the establishment of the Constitution of the United States of America and its Bill of Rights, all people in the entire world belonged to someone else. They belonged to the Pope, or to the king, or to their master, or to some lord, or to some sultan. But no one in the entire history of the world had ever been truly free. With the establishment of the Constitution of the United States of America and this nation, man had reached the pinnacle of all of the striving of humankind throughout history and stood as a sovereign king in his own right, with the government for the first time ever in the history of the world as his chattel servant. Now we see the roles going back to the old way, reversing once again, where the government is becoming all-powerful and man is once again being relegated to the position of property of someone or something else. And it is only because we have forgotten. When you see children who seem aimless, who seem to have no hope, who are pursuing a life of crime and degradation, it is because they do not understand those principles. It's because they see no hope. They see no future. They see no way out of the trap that they have been relegated into. Listeners, it does not make any difference who I am or where I come from. It makes a difference what I stand for. So that you will not fall into the trap of the disinformation artists who will attempt to discredit everything that I am saying because they do not want these principles to be remembered. Think of me as the worst possible human being that you can imagine, a bank robber, a murderer, someone who's committed the most dastardly of crimes, and then listen to the information that you hear on this program. Weigh that information on its own merits, and do not believe a thing that you hear on this show or on the 6 o'clock news, or on the BBC, or on Radio Moscow, from George Bush, from Mr. Gorbachev, or from your own mother. For the deception in the world that's being promulgated by those who would change the world is so deep that indeed short people are in danger of drowning. It is my hope that the information that you hear on this show, which will consist mainly of suppressed information that you will never, ever hear in the mainstream media of any country, will help to set us free. I believe in the saying of a great man, "Seek ye the truth, and the truth shall set you free." I believe that information is the power of the 90s, not money. And I believe that those who are well informed and those who read and absorb information on a great scale from every source, not just the source that you subscribe to or just the beliefs that you subscribe to, but from every source that there is. And don't discount the information put out by your enemies, simply because to win a battle, you must know your enemy. And the one who has the most information usually will emerge as the victor. I want to thank all of those people who have helped me throughout the years. I would also like to thank all the wonderful people at WWCR in Nashville, Tennessee, who have helped to make this show become a reality. For it is only when you can reach large numbers of people throughout the world that a message is able to transcend all of the blocks and the obstacles put before it. This is not a religious show, and I will not preach to you ever. But religion will enter into the discussion on many of these shows simply because at the root of what is happening today are religious events that happened centuries ago, and they must be addressed. Tonight you are going to hear the living Constitution. Get out your tape recorders and make sure you have a pencil and paper with you all throughout this show so that you can jot down notes. At the break and at the end of the show, I'm going to give you some phone numbers and an address that you need to write to. I believe that you cannot understand any of the information that you are going to get in the coming weeks and months and years on this program without a knowledge of the Constitution of the United States of America and all of the amendments thereof. No matter what country you live in or what language you speak, record this broadcast, listen to it over and over again, and then you will understand why the United States of America was such a great, great nation, and why it is declining in its greatness now, that people have forgotten these principles, and most Americans do not have a copy of the Constitution, and indeed do not even know what it says.
To carry on the War of Independence, and hence to secure their unalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, the 13 American colonies banded together in 1776 as the United States of America. When the war was finally won, the new nation was confronted by many grave responsibilities. And it was soon realized that a strong federal government was needed to represent the mutual interests of the states and protect the rights of individual citizens. In 1787, delegates from the states met in Philadelphia to draw up a constitution adequate to the needs of the Union. The 55 delegates included such men as Benjamin Franklin, James Madison, Alexander Hamilton, and George Washington. It took them 4 full months to complete their task. Yet, in retrospect, that was a remarkably short time. For what these dedicated, far-sighted men achieved was nothing less than a permanent framework of government, a unique pattern for a democratic way of life. From that long ago day to this, the Constitution of the United States has been the living heart and spirit of our nation. Abridged and amended from time to time according to the will of the people, its broad concepts ever subject to interpretation in the light of changing conditions. This great document is today as it was in 1787, mankind's most inspired design for the self-government of a free people. The supreme law of the land, the living Constitution of the United States.
We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
The first three articles of the Constitution provide for the three branches of the federal government: legislative, executive, and judicial. Article 1.
All legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in the Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and House of Representatives.
The House of Representatives shall be composed of members chosen every second year by the people of the several states. No person shall be a representative who shall not have attained to the age of 25 years and been 7 years a citizen of the United States, and who shall not, when elected, be an inhabitant of that state in which he shall be chosen. Representatives shall be apportioned among the several states which may be included within this union, according to their respective numbers. When vacancies happen in the representation from any state, the executive authority thereof shall issue writs of election to fill such vacancies. The House of Representatives shall choose their Speaker and other officers, and shall have the sole power of impeachment.
The Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state, chosen for 6 years, and each senator shall have 1 vote.
No person shall be a senator who shall not have attained to the age of 30 years and been 9 years a citizen of the United States, and who shall not, when elected, be an inhabitant of that state for which he shall be chosen.
The Vice President of the United States shall be President of the Senate, but shall have no vote unless they be equally divided. The Senate shall choose their other officers, and also a President pro tempore in the absence of the Vice President, or when he shall exercise the office of President of the United States.
The Senate shall have the sole power to try all impeachments. When sitting for that purpose, they shall be on oath or affirmation. When the President of the United States is tried, the Chief Justice shall preside, and no person shall be convicted without the concurrence of 2/3 of the members present.
Judgment in cases of impeachment shall not extend further than to removal from office and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States. But the party convicted shall nevertheless be liable and subject to indictment, trial, judgment, and punishment according to law.
The times, places, and manner of holding elections for senators and representatives shall be prescribed in each state by the legislature thereof. But the Congress may at any time, by law, make or alter such regulations, except as to the places of choosing senators. Each House shall be the judge of the elections, returns, and qualifications of its own members.
Each House may determine the rules of its proceedings, punish its members for disorderly behavior, and with the concurrence of 2/3, expel a member.
Each House shall keep a journal of its proceedings, and from time to time publish the same, excepting such parts as may in their judgment require secrecy. And the yeas and nays of the members of either House on any question shall, at the desire of 1/5 of those present, be entered on the journal.
Neither House, during the session of Congress, shall, without the consent of the other, adjourn for more than 3 days, nor to any other place than that in which the 2 houses shall be sitting.
The senators and representatives shall receive a compensation for their services, to be ascertained by law and paid out of the Treasury of the United States. They shall, in all cases, except treason, felony, and breach of the peace, be privileged from arrest during their attendance at the session of their respective houses, and in going to